Revised, Philippine National Police. Operational Procedures. December 2013. Chapter 1. General Principles. Regardless of the type of function to be performed and/or police operations to be conducted, all PNP personnel must know by heart and shall comply with and apply the following principles and procedures. Rule 1. Functions of a police officer. 1.1. To serve and protect. The responsibility of every police officer is to serve the public and protect life and property. No police operation shall be conducted in order to serve or protect the illegal activity of a particular person, group or criminal syndicate. 1.2. To observe human rights and dignity of person. All PNP personnel shall respect the human rights and dignity of the suspects during police operations. Rule 2. Police uniform, attire and accessories. 2.1. Agency prescribed uniform. A police officer shall always wear the agency prescribed uniform which is appropriate for the kind of police operation to be undertaken. 2.2. Appearing before the public. When wearing the police uniform, a police officer shall, at all times, appear presentable, smart and well-groomed. While on actual patrol duties, he shall refrain from eating along the sidewalks, smoking and reading newspapers. 2.3. Carrying a police notebook, pen, and Miranda warning card. Every police officer on patrol, whether on board a vehicle or on foot patrol, must always carry with him a police notebook, a pen and the Miranda warning card. The notebook, which is approximately pocket-sized, will be used to inscribe important events that transpire during his tour of duty. 2.4. Carrying of non-lethal weapon in the police rig. Every police officer shall carry in his prescribed rig a non-lethal weapon, pepper spray, baton or stun gun, which shall be primarily used in a non-armed confrontation with an uncooperative and unruly offender during the arrest. Rule 3. Categories of police operations. Police operations are categorized as follows. 3.1. Public safety operation. Includes search, rescue, and retrieval operations, fire drills, earthquake drills and similar operations that promote public safety. 3.2. Law enforcement operation. Includes service of warrant of arrest, implementation of search warrant, enforcement of visitorial powers of the Chief Philippine National Police and unit commanders, anti-illegal drugs operation, anti-illegal gambling operations, anti-illegal logging operations, anti-illegal fishing operations, anti-carnapping operations, anti-kidnapping operations, anti-cybercrime operations and similar operations that are conducted to enforce laws, statutes, executive orders and ordinances. 3.3. Internal security operation. Includes counterinsurgency operations, counter-terrorist operations and similar operations that are conducted to ensure internal security. 3.4. Special police operation. Includes checkpoint operation, roadblock operation, civil disturbance management operation, police assistance in the enforcement of demolition eviction injunction and similar orders, police assistance in the implementation of final court order and order from quasi-judicial bodies, hostage situation, visit board search and seizure on board marine vessels and similar police operations that are conducted by police units with specialized training on the peculiarity of the mission or purpose. 3.5. Intelligence operation. Includes surveillance operation, counterintelligence, intelligence research, intelligence assessment and similar police intelligence operation conducted to gather information related to security, public safety and order. 3.6. Investigation operation. Includes investigation of crime or incident, administrative investigation and similar investigative work necessary to determine facts and circumstances for filing cases criminally or administratively. 3.7. Scene of the crime operation. SOCO includes the processing of crime scene, technical and forensic examination of evidences and similar scientific investigative assistance. Chapter 2. Operational procedures. Rule 4. Pre-operational clearance. No police operation shall be conducted without the approval of the Chief, Commander, Head of the concerned police unit, Office. A pre-operational clearance shall be filed by the team leader of the operating teams prior to the conduct of the operation and shall be approved by the concerned police unit commander. This clearance shall be submitted to the Operations Section, Division of the concerned police unit for record purposes. Rule 5. Inter-unit coordination. 5.1. Personal coordination or by official representative. Team leaders of local police units operating outside their territorial jurisdiction and National Support Units, NSUs, shall coordinate, personally or through an official representative, with the police regional, provincial or city police office within whose jurisdiction the operation is to be conducted. 5.2 Coordination by filing coordination form. Prior to the launching of the operation, except in cases where the formal, in writing, inter-unit coordination cannot be made due to the nature or urgency of the situation such as, but not limited to, cross-jurisdictional pursuit operations, coordination should be made formally using the prescribed coordination form, which shall be filed with the concerned operations center of the police regional, provincial or city office, Annex A, coordination form. 5.3 Coordination by practical, available means of communication. In cases where formal inter-unit coordination is not feasible, the police unit concerned shall endeavor to notify the territorial police office through any practical, available means of communication at any time during the operation and, if not possible, shall accomplish and furnish the territorial police office a written incident report immediately after the termination of the operation. Rule 6. Requirements of police operations. 6.1 Basic requirements. Police operations like arrest, search and seizure, checkpoint, roadblocks, demolition and civil disturbance management shall be conducted as follows. A. With a marked police vehicle. B. Led by a police commissioned officer and C. With personnel in prescribed police uniform or attire. 6.2 Use of megaphones and similar instruments. During actual police intervention operations, the team leader shall use peaceful means including the use of megaphones or any other similar instruments to warn or influence the offenders or suspect to stop or peacefully give up. 6.3 Warning shots prohibited. The police shall not use warning shots during police intervention operations. Rule 7. Use of force during police operations. 7.1 Use of excessive force prohibited. The excessive use of force during police operation is prohibited. However, in the lawful performance of duty, a police officer may use necessary force to accomplish his mandated tasks of enforcing the law and maintaining peace and order. 7.2 Issuance of verbal warning. The police officer must first issue a verbal warning before he could use force against an offender. As far as practicable, the verbal warning shall be in the dialect that is known to the offender or in the national language. Basically, the verbal warning shall consist of the following: the police officer identifying himself, his intention, and what he wants the offender to do. If the offender is a foreigner, the verbal warning shall be done in the English language followed by a demonstrative act of the police officer's intent. The verbal warning shall be done in a loud and clear manner. 7.3 Non-issuance of verbal warning when excusable. The failure to issue a verbal warning is excusable in cases where threat to life or property is already imminent, and there is no other option but to use force to subdue the offender. 7.4 Use of non-lethal weapon. When suspect is violent or threatening, and that less physical measures have been tried and deemed inappropriate, a more extreme, but non-deadly measure can be used such as baton, truncheon, pepper spray, stun gun and other non-lethal weapon to bring the suspect under control, or effect an arrest. 7.5 Application of necessary and reasonable force. During confrontation with an armed offender, only such necessary and reasonable force should be applied as would be sufficient to overcome the resistance put up by the offender, subdue the clear and imminent danger posed by him, or to justify the force, act under the principles of self-defense, defense of relative, or defense of stranger. 7.6 Factors to consider in the reasonableness of the force employed. A police officer, however, is not required to afford offenders attacking him the opportunity for a fair or equal struggle. The reasonableness of the force employed will depend upon the number of aggressors, nature and characteristic of the weapon used, physical condition, size and other circumstances to include the place and occasion of the assault. The police officer is given the sound discretion to consider these factors in employing reasonable force. 7.7 Responsibility of the police officer in charge of the operation. The police officer who is in charge of the operation shall, at all times, exercise control over all police personnel in the area of operation, and shall exhaust all possible means to apply the necessary and reasonable force to protect lives and properties during armed confrontation.
This presentation is prepared by Police Staff Sergeant Marlon Fernandez Anabeza. A bona fide member of PNP Class 2011-01, Batch Exodus. PNP Scout, Class 34-2012, Batch Sick Lab. PNP SWAT, Class 2014-01. Batch Hitman. PNP Criminal Investigation Course, Class 363-2015.